The freaking Super Bowl of beauty and fashion happened, so we have to talk about it because I need to tell you about my favorite looks. Specifically, my favorite makeup looks. Hi besties, I'm Dana and welcome to Face Value, where we sit down, chit chat, and discuss all things beauty. Today I am so excited to be sitting down to chat with you guys because one of my favorite days of the year has just passed, which is the Met freaking Gala. I adore the Met Gala. I look forward to it every single year as if I'm a freaking guest.
Dana over here, Dana.
Obviously I'm not, but a girl can dream. But anyways, I look forward to it every single year because I love seeing every single look that people come up with. I even find it so interesting what designers coordinate with what celebrities. I just find it so fascinating. And this year, the theme was costume art and fashion is art. I've heard both. So I wanted to go through and give you my personal favorite makeup looks that accompanied all of these great fashion looks. So let's get right into it. Let's pull out my book because, I do my research. Usually I list down below in the description where I got my info, but this time it's literally all Instagram and TikTok, so that's my source. And just a disclaimer, these are in no particular order. These are just a list of my favorite ones. I didn't rank them, even though I'm going 1 through 10. But let me know down below in the comments which one's your favorite because I'll let you know at the end which one's mine. But let's start off with another YouTube girly, Miss Emma Chamberlain. And dare I say, in my opinion, I think she got the theme down the absolute best. She wore this magnificent gown by Mugler, and oh my goodness, I am so obsessed with it because it actually had real paint strokes going down, so it's kind of cascading down her body as if it was like an oil painting. It is so freaking cool. And when it comes to coming up with makeup looks that kind of go with such a bold statement look, which is another reason why I love the Met Gala, because I love seeing how they're going to coordinate the makeup looks. The outfit is obviously the star of the show, so it has to coordinate and not clash too hard. But I absolutely love the direction they took with this. It's so moody and very smudged out. It's like almost the continuation of the smeared paint that's going down her dress. It is so freaking cool, and one of my favorite parts of the dress is that the sleeves drape down as if it was as if it was dripping down to the floor, and I think that is so freaking cool. Also, on top of the moody vibe, I also loved the gold inner corner because it tied it in so well to the yellow in the dress without going too over the top. Let's say if they had just done the kind of smoked out kind of gray tone, it might have been too dark. So I really liked that they pulled it back with that inner corner because it really brings it all together and draws attention to the face. And honestly, every time I see the Met Gala all over Instagram across all these celeb profiles, obviously they always tag their makeup artists, and sometimes they don't. I had to do some digging today, but they don't get enough credit. So I'm gonna make sure that I mention every single makeup artist that did these amazing looks because coming from a professional standpoint, it is a labor of love. Emma Chamberlain's makeup was done by Lily Keys, who is an amazing makeup artist. You should look at her work. Her Instagram is going to be somewhere around the screen. We need to talk about this makeup artist in particular because her name is I Am Meng. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, so I apologize if I'm not, but this girl is absolutely killer in the K-pop industry, so I'm not even surprised that she created Lisa's amazing look. Lisa wore this all white head to toe gown by Bovary, and her makeup artist and team could have easily gone with the super iced out eyes as well, but they pulled it back by adding a touch of royal blue, and honestly it's the best choice it could have made. And the thing is, it's so subtle yet so prominent, and that's how you know that it's a good look. The blue is kind of scattered on her eyes, kind of elongating the eye, and also on her nails. And if you look really closely, you can see that some of the rhinestones have a little bit of a blue tint. I love rhinestones, obviously, so I was a big fan of this look, and I feel like rhinestones and glitter are really big and prominent in the K-pop industry. And I know Lisa isn't so much categorized as K-pop anymore, but I do believe that influence will always be a part of her, and it's not the first time that I see I Am Meng's work because she works with a bunch of different K-pop stars, so I was not surprised at all when I found out that she was behind this beautiful look. 10 out of 10. Let's keep talking about balanced looks, and one of my all-time favorite makeup artists. I adore Carolina Gonzalez. She has worked with so many celebrities, especially pop singers. You've seen her work a million times without knowing, and she created a gorgeous look on Miss Sabrina Carpenter. Sabrina Carpenter wore Custom Dior, which was one of my favorite actual garments of this night because she literally had a dress made of all film strips, and the actual movie that was on the film strips was Sabrina, like the movie with Audrey Hepburn. It's freaking genius, and she looked so good. And like I said, this whole event is about the fashion, so how do you make it coordinate well? Carolina did an amazing job doing this this really neutral glam, which is really similar to what we've seen Sabrina have in some of her concerts, but it was a little bit cooler toned. And I love this choice because it really blended in well with the moodiness of the film. I feel like I saw a lot of moody looks, and I think art in itself is very moody, so I'm not very surprised at that. Actually, I love it. But toning it back to going with a cooler tone on the eyes and smoking it out, because when I've seen Sabrina's stage makeup, it's more of a warmer toned brown if she's not wearing any color. I loved the contrast because a lot of people don't tend to notice it, but it let the whole outfit shine with still drawing attention to her face in a positive manner. And I know that Carolina uses a lot of Giorgio Armani when she does Sabrina's makeup, so I'm definitely going to look into what shades she's using because I'm pretty sure she uses the liquid blushes. Speaking of more toned down looks, I wanted to mention Jennie's look because I actually really loved it, even though it's really simple. I'm a big fan of K-pop, so I've been a fan of Jennie for a while, and I've seen how her makeup typically goes. It's very K-pop based, it's very glittery, it's very sultry sometimes. But for this Met Gala, she went with a faux freckle, which I thought was so cute and it was so different, and I loved seeing it on her. Not only that, but she also went with a really light pink shade all over the lid, as well as a brown eyeliner, which I thought was the perfect choice. And also what really intrigued me about her makeup is that she used thin eyebrows. I don't think a lot of people noticed, but it looks like her makeup artist kind of concealed out her natural brows and redrew them with maybe a pencil or a shadow. And honestly, I think it brings a lot of harmony to the look. So I wanted to mention her makeup because I genuinely really loved it. And her makeup was done by Joy Nara, which I took a while to find because she didn't tag her directly, so I had to go through the photographers, but I found it. Very talented. Now let's talk about Maria Zardoya from the Marias because I adored her look, and I know I sound like a broken record, but honestly, I only picked the ones I like. It's kind of the point of the video. I love her makeup because it's so theatrical. She went with this dolly look by Materias Fecales, and it looked so freaking good. And dare I say, the look would not have pulled together if it hadn't been for the makeup, because everything has to make sense, like I've been saying. For this look specifically, because of the concept, the makeup was absolutely crucial and was beautifully done by Sandy Nietzsche. I loved how Maria really praised her makeup artist on social media because not a lot of people do. Like I said, sometimes it's hard to find the credits, but Maria really talked and harped about her love for the makeup look and how much she appreciated her artist, and went on to say something really beautiful about her look, and I'm gonna read it so I don't get it wrong. She said, "In Puerto Rico, my family would call me La Muñeca de Porcelana, a little porcelain doll. I wanted to do a nod to our story. I also brought a porcelain doll with me to represent a younger version of myself. She'd be so proud." I love how she talks about the look in general because it is just so nice to see someone care so much about the concept. I always appreciate artistry. And I'm not just saying all that because I love the Marias, which I do, but honestly, I was so taken aback with how emotional she was about the look. I think it's so beautiful to see somebody actually care about things that they're doing. You know, sometimes I feel like people can just kind of brush something off and just be like, oh, whatever, but I like seeing effort, and I think effort is the coolest thing. Anyways, besides the beautiful gown, the look is very 1920s inspired despite being a porcelain doll look. I think all the choices came together beautifully. I love the thin brows, definitely some brow blocking going on there to be able to thin them out. That's where the 1920s inspo comes from, and also the shape of the eye makeup. I love the moodiness. I keep saying that, but like I said, I feel like a lot of the looks for this year were in the moodier type of vibe, which again, I love. I love the choice of keeping it simple. I know it's not a simple look overall, but what I mean is the color palette. There's only really like 3 colors in it: the eyeshadow color, the blush, and the lippy. And I think the lippy and the blush are the perfect shades of pink. Honestly, when it comes to dolly makeup, sometimes we take it really pink, and I love pink blush, obviously. But I think for this look, it was the great choice to go with a more of a mauve-y type of rosy color opposed to bright pink. I think it looked so gorgeous. Now let's talk special effects makeup because there was quite a bit this year. And obviously, I have to start by talking about Miss Heidi Klum, the queen of Halloween that always does these elaborate Halloween costumes with prosthetics and everything. She goes all out and doesn't miss a single step. And we can thank Mike Marino, which did her entire look. So she actually didn't have a specific designer because Mike Marino was the designer, who is a special effects makeup artist who specializes on all these crazy full body prosthetics, which is incredibly difficult to do and time consuming. So I admire the work ethic. When I was in makeup artistry school, I had a whole course dedicated to special effects, and special effects makeup requires so much elaborate planning and it's so time consuming that the first day of special effects class, we started planning our final. Because there's something called life casting that you have to do, meaning making a mold of somebody's face, chiseling away imperfections because it doesn't always come out right, molding with clay on top of it, making the prosthetics from scratch, and that's only a half body project. So now imagine a full body, because even her hands and feet were done. And you'll find out in a little bit that this wasn't the only project he had to do. And obviously these things are planned out, so they planned accordingly, but still it doesn't take any of the labor away. Miss Heidi decided to be a whole statue in herself, and I think it was such a cool concept, especially for the theme, because it's art themed, and what's more artistic than a statue? I need to give props to Heidi for wearing it, because like I said, it's head to toe. I had to be somebody's final for a project at my school because we had to be each other's models, and I could barely stand the sensation of burlap on my face and the prosthetic. I really couldn't handle it well, so I could only imagine a full head to toe. Doing that for the Met is crazy. And it's really cool to see in Mike Morano's page the whole process of behind the scenes. You can see the hollow shell of the molded and sculpted prosthetic before it even goes on Heidi's body, which is so cool. Now going in with more subtle prosthetics, let's talk about Anouk Yai, which I also know I'm probably pronouncing wrong, but I love her and I think she's beautiful. One of the best supermodels of our time. Now she actually had two makeup artists working with her, and one of them is one of my favorite artists of all time because I used to watch her on a show called Face Off, which is a special effects competition show. Her name is Miss Sasha Glazer or Glasser. I don't want to mispronounce, but I'm sorry. She created this amazing prosthetic that goes on the head and it looks so seamless. And when I tell you it is hard to do seamless, it is hard to do seamless. And you could see also on her page, and you could see the pictures up here, you can see the whole sculpt before you even put it on. Like I said, these things take time and you need to be able to cater it so that it fits that specific client. So you need to do all of this prep work, and it's really a labor of love. If beauty makeup in general is a labor of love, special effects is like cookies included. And Miss Sheikah Daly also did a part in her look. She did the glamour part. So Sasha did the head portion with the prosthetic, and then Sheikah did the rest of the glamour, which is amazing to see two artists working so beautifully together, because I would have never thought that two people did it. It really has to be a flow state for you to be able to work with somebody that well, which is another reason I liked watching Face Off, because there was a lot of group projects that they had to do, and you just find it so interesting seeing how some people can't work with other people. But obviously they worked beautifully together because it went gorgeous with her entire look that was decked out in all gold. I love the gold specks on it. Mayron has a gold powder that I've used before that looks really similar to it. I wonder which one they used, but whichever one they used, it went so well with her Balenciaga gown, which she looked stunning in. Now let's talk about Hudson Williams. Any heated rivalry fans? I haven't watched it yet, but I want to. I love seeing men wear makeup, and this was a great editorial moment, and I love seeing the variety of different artists because his makeup artist Aika is specialized in men's grooming, which is another thing I learned in school. So men's grooming means that you're basically doing minimal makeup on men so that it looks like they have nothing on. It's basically your no makeup for men. So this is really common in red carpets and concerts, so even people like Pitbull are probably wearing makeup. And usually male grooming is really minimal, so I thought it was so cool to see them go editorial with it, with this cool geometrical eye with contrast and colors on each side. It looks so good, and if you look closely, it was even trickled into his ears, which I thought was a great touch. I also loved his outfit. He was wearing Bulgari and Balenciaga. I just needed to mention that look because it stood out a lot to me, and I love seeing talented makeup artists be so versatile. Going back to special effects, we need to talk about Bad Bunny, because Bad Bunny worked with the same artist that Heidi Klum did. Bad Bunny decided to turn himself into an older version of himself, which I thought was really cool. And also props to him for wearing it all day because, like I said, it was head to toe. And you can see in Mike Marino's page the prosthetic for the hair before it was placed on him. I also did that in school, and when I tell you that stuff is so itchy, oh my goodness, I really give him props for wearing it all day because it's so uncomfortable to wear that much stuff. And when I did it, it was adhered with spirit gum. You learn a lot about adhesives and things, and I also learned that I was allergic to the remover were using, or the spirit gum. I don't know still which one, but I will not be putting spirit gum in my face again. Things like that are so intricate and detailed, so I really admire Mike for doing both those looks simultaneously, because both the prep and application is no easy thing. And if you were curious, Bad Bunny was wearing a tux by Zara. Okay, so this is the part where I'm supposed to tell you that if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, click subscribe, and hit the bell so that you know when the next episode is coming out. But for some reason, my microphone totally died, I guess, but also I think I wasn't using it the whole episode. But anyways, it looks cute in my hand. Next time will be better. I told you guys that I was going to tell you my favorite look, so I'll tell you now. My favorite look was Maria's 100% because I love a good theatrical look. Make sure that you follow me across all platforms on TikTok, Instagram, and Substack. My handle is @I'mDanaBelen across everything, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye, besties.